I was 1 minute late. I apologize. I still have the lights. I need to get the lights out of red mode. We're not going red mode today. We're going nice branding. Catch 'em all collectibles branding, blue and orange. We are not still ripping native. My thumb is about to fall off. I was ripping native a lot today. Continuing to get good pulls. No more serialized cards at all. But native's been a lot of fun. But I found what my limit is for how many packs I can do in a day. And it's about 2,500 packs. Because that's what I did yesterday, and that was enough. That was plenty. I did another 500, 5 or 600 so far today. I needed to. I practiced doing some left-handed because my right thumb is just like dying. I'm not cut out to be Danny Rev. Tape the thumb and keep it going. No, I'm gonna try to just get to where I can do like a case a day. I might take the day off tomorrow from ripping and then just do like a case a day thereafter. The fact that I reached the end of that stream is just a testament to how long it was. Yeah, it wasn't like a basic trainer type stream, but Huxley's got some Metazoo native bulk over there. I need to get my normal backdrop up there. Got the old Charizard UPC for giveaway there. Scarlet and Violet booster box. I don't remember what used to be on the other side. But anyways, quick stream today. I was live for too long last night. Not taking the whole day off, but taking the day off from opening packs. I think I might do. We'll have to see. But yeah. What's everyone up to? I realized, and I had been told that my Pokemon Market Q&As never really were about Pokemon. So I don't know if anyone caught it, but I took it out of the title today. It's just live Hangout Q&A. Retro says, still alive after last night. How does he do it? Mr. Walrus says, back for more, old man. This is nothing compared to like a Collecticon weekend. So I've been trained well by Collecticon weekends to function on very little sleep, very high alcohol intake. Last night was nothing at all. The amount of packs that I ripped were definitely a bit excessive and atypical. But yeah, hit me with questions. Hit me with whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm only here for an hour today. So yeah, I'm here to talk about Pokemon, Metazoo, life, food. What do we normally talk about? Mowing the lawn, household chores, and DIY type stuff. The native box prices, yeah, it's a really interesting dynamic with what's going on with native because some partners haven't even gotten their product, and some no distributors have gotten their product at all. So I think it's expectation that prices should be doing well. So I'm just trying to take advantage of that. I'm trying to rip all I can. There are players out there that want their cards to start practicing for towers. There are collectors out there who just want to finish their binders as soon as possible. So I'm like the one guy ripping product and putting it on eBay, and EV is very, very positive right now. So I'm the sales are crazy right now. The sales for native are crazy, and the EV on native right now is crazy. Can we give up on Metazoo already? I'm not giving up on Metazoo and anytime soon. Is it unethical for Aoki to publicly set the offer price on the Metazoo Topps Chrome 1/1 Mothman? I don't understand the question. Is it unethical for somebody to say what they would pay for a piece of shiny cardboard featuring a moth-like cryptid? I don't remotely know how that could be seen as unethical or immoral or anything like that. I want to pay X amount of money for Y item. That feels completely reasonable to me. If anyone takes issue or takes offense from that, I would be interested to hear their spin on that, why that would be. How excited are you about Lorcana? Do you think it'll be part of the top 3 with Pokemon/Magic? I'm not. I don't really care. Disney's cool. I have Disney Plus. I went to Disney earlier this year. I'll probably take my kids to Disney at some point, but I don't really care much about the cards. I think it's gonna be stonked like crazy, and I think that there's a decent shot that it might not survive. I mean, Disney prints a lot of money, a lot of different ways, and they might just like print the crap out of the cards, Lorcana, and let everyone get wrecked and just they make a ton of money, they kill the game. That's absolutely like a possible scenario. I think a lot of people just have it built in like, oh, Lorcana is Disney. Disney's been around for 100 years. It's guaranteed. Disney has printed cards before. And yeah, I don't know. It could do great. It could be number one in 20 years from now, and Pokemon could be gone, and Magic. Who knows? Like anything can happen. But nothing is a given. So it'll be interesting. But I'm not overly excited for it. I'm not really like. I'm not gonna hate it though either. Like I'll look at it if I have access to get it. If it feels interesting to me, I might do something with it. But I don't really have too much thoughts on it. When are you gonna do a sitting cutie unboxing stream? They're just there. I don't really like make a big thing of it, but I did add this one recently. I don't know if anyone caught it. I know Ray out there is pretty bummed that he is not being on pokeflipz before Mr. Walrus. But Ray has joined the backdrop. So Ray will be on pokeflipz someday. I promise you, Ray. We'll get that arranged at some point. We just haven't scheduled it yet. So we'll get that sorted and Ray will be on eventually. But he is in the backdrop now. Nice little bag of trash, Trubbish Ray. Oh man. That's not me picking on Ray or being mean to Ray. That's literally his Discord avatar. So, when are you doing pokeflipz again? Part of the reason I'm doing an hour today for my stream too, I'm doing pokeflipz tomorrow. Pokeflipz is tomorrow at 1 p.m. So I'm recording the premiere tonight with Nick. Anyone who's left questions on the last episode, we will answer those in video form tonight. And we will be live at like 1:15 p.m. tomorrow with Mr. Walrus. So looking forward to that. How do you feel about Aoki pumping his own game by sending out a high buy price on a 1 of 1? It's somebody. I mean, at the end of the day, if he's willing to pay it, if it's a scam offer that he wouldn't actually back, that is fraudulent. That is a scam. That is a very big concern. As far as him having ownership in it. If it were stocks, would the SEC have something to say about it? Maybe. I really don't know. I don't know how that works. But at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not buying the product anyways. I don't really have too much thoughts. I don't really have too much care towards it because I'm not buying the Topps Chrome product. It's not something I have wholesale access to at like good pricing. But yeah, that's just my thought on that. If you miss the tax filing deadline is the best approach, oh well. I would not recommend that. That is not tax advice, but I would not recommend taking the oh well strategy. I imagine you've had a lot of these questions, but what do you think is the 10 to 20 year prospect for special delivery Charizard? Down. I think a lot, like the out of the gate price over $1,000. I think that will be the inflation adjusted real all time high of that card. And I think most cards hit their inflation adjusted all time high right out of the gate. And I think the pops of these cards, the amount of them that are being printed, the amount of them that are being preserved in PSA cases, I think that's just the general trend for what these cards will do. Sorry, I didn't put that one on screen. Apparently, people are bent out of shape about it. People are bent out of shape about way too much. People just need to, I don't know, like noise in the hobby. Worry about things that, one, affect you, two, that you can control. I can't control what Steve Aoki is offering on any given card. I would love to pull that card myself, but I'm not opening any products, so I think it's fairly unlikely that I'll pull it, given I'm not opening it. So it has no effect on me. I just don't care. Like, I don't know. people worry and stress and just get worked up over way too much. And that's been a common theme with MetaZoo. Like, MetaZoo has hurt a lot of people's feelings. And I think I've said it many times, but show me where on the Quaxley. Where did MetaZoo hurt you? Show me. Was it here? Was it here? I mean, where did MetaZoo hurt you? I just don't get it. You guys might end up getting me to turn my lights red. We'll see if we can avoid red lights before the end of the stream. Doesn't he have ownership in MetaZoo? I believe so. I'm not entirely sure how that all works. I know I don't have ownership in MetaZoo. The gripe is Aoki's involvement in creating the set, I believe, so there's a conflict of interest. Is someone who creates a set someone who owns part of the IP behind it? Are they not allowed to buy their own cards? Like, is Michael Jordan not allowed to buy his own cards? Is LeBron James not allowed to buy his own cards? Is someone who works at Upper Deck, is someone who works at PSA not allowed to collect PSA cards, buy PSA cards? Can someone who works for PSA, for PWCC, not put an offer out on a card that's being sold sometimes on their platform? There's a lot of interesting moral dilemmas or ethical dilemmas, whatever you want to call them, in this industry, and a lot of it goes on. I think there are definitely people that work at PSA that collect. There are definitely people that work I don't know anyone individually, so I don't know, but there are probably people at Millennium Print Group who collect. There's probably people who higher up at Pokemon whose kids collect. Is that stuff legitimate? Is that stuff allowed? There are unsavory things that go on for sure. I don't know. I wish to be part of the Plus EV MetaZoo crowd one day. Any clue when the next PSA special is incoming? No clue as far as, like, I do not have insider information. I would guess May 1st. That's not just like a wild guess. That's a fairly educated guess, I would say. Just historically speaking, it wouldn't be. I would bet money that we would get a special on May 1st. Not an insane amount of money. I think the odds are, if you gave me 2-to-1 odds, I would bet a decent amount of money. I feel like the odds are fairly high, 60, 70, 80%. But it wouldn't overly shock me either if we didn't. Like, I don't think it's a 99% certainty, almost certainty, that we'll get a special. But yeah, May 1st, I would not be surprised if we see like 15 again, would be my guess. Disney 100 over Lorcana. I'm not doing anything with either one. I think crazy things are going on in both. I try to only transact where I have like a leg up. I buy MetaZoo boxes from my partnership program, direct from MetaZoo. I buy Pokemon from wholesale distribution. I like to buy product that I get at a sub-market price. If I were to play in Lorcana, if I were to play in Disney 100, I would be competing with everyone else at the same prices, buying in at retail, buying in at full market, and I just don't want to do that. The fact that so many people think Lorcana is a no-brainer scares me a lot. It's probably still a good flip, but I don't like the risk-reward. I mean, I've had multiple people who do nothing with cards. Kind of like what happened in 2020 with Pokemon. I had some people reach out to me about like, hey, I heard you're doing stuff with Pokemon. Can you get me any of that? You think I should buy this? XYZ, whatever. And Lorcana, I've had a couple people from high school, a couple people from where I used to work reach out and say, hey, I heard about this new Disney set coming out. Do you get that? Can I get a bunch of that from you? And they're talking about sitting on it for 10 or 20 years. And yeah, it's just kind of scary. Danny Phantom said the Lorcana gameplay didn't look that good. I have no idea about gameplay. I haven't played any of these games. So can you talk me out of looking to open a storefront? Thanks. Go to Cardinal Gaming. Go to Cardinal Gaming's channel. I think he has a lot of videos talking about it. Rusty tried, and then he's no longer doing it. So I do not have the work ethic or the energy of Rusty, I don't think. And he, for whatever reason, one reason or another, got out of it. I'm not going to take that route. I went full-time Pokemon to be more free. I'm not going to pin myself down to a brick and mortar location and employees and all that overhead. So overhead, leases, insurances, 5-year leases, just, yeah, nothing I want to take part in. And hopefully some of those words will make you reconsider maybe. Question: a buyer cancels after accepting their offer. What would you do? Reject so they get a non-payment strike. I always give a non-paying buyer a non-paying strike. Always. If you don't pay, you get a unpaid item strike. What's good, Body? How's it going, Melfi? Melfi Collectibles was the editor for my short back when I pulled the Charizard on PK stream with like 12 people there, and he was also the editor for the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. I forgot to have the overlay on, so that is still ongoing. Somewhere over here, I can't quite find it. Somewhere over here, we've raised $1,330. I forgot to have that overlay turned on. But yeah, that campaign is still ongoing. Mason Cardinal Gaming, who I just talked about, recently accepted my challenge, made a video. Nick, Old Skool Pokemon, recently accepted my challenge, made his video. It's going well. I mean, obviously, I set the $5,000 goal for the Evolving Skies booster box. I was hoping we'd get there. That was kind of like the really ambitious goal. But we've gotten over 1,000, so it's great. I'm really happy with how it's turned out. You can have ownership of something, but still want something from the product. To me, it's a good sign, since that means Aoki didn't just take the 101 out of the print room for himself. Why do offers sent by the seller not show up on 130 or eBay last sold is the final? Go to Terapeak. Go to Terapeak within the research tab in eBay, and then you will find it. I don't know why they don't. But yeah, Terapeak will cover you there. If enough people think Lorcana will be a no-brainer, it will be a self-fulfilling prophecy and make it stunk because everyone thinks it will stunk, at least in the short term. In the short term, no. But long term, it will become a self-defeating prophecy. I think a lot of what's going on in ultra-modern Pokemon, in TCGs of all kinds, I think these things will become a self-defeating prophecy because this is a zero-sum game. This is a greater fool type scenario. You need someone to buy from you for more. If everyone is buying today out of the gate to sell to someone for more, who's that person who is ultimately going to buy it for more down the line? You have that's what a bubble is, right? When everyone's buying for it to go up, price goes up because price goes up. Well, then price goes down because price goes down because people realize that that it is unsustainable. Just trying to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Athletes put buy prices out on their own cards all the time. Yeah, that was one of the things that I brought up too. That is it a little bit weird? Is there some kind of there are so many things in this industry that just have that like weird taste to them. What do you think about a grading company being owned by the same company that owns an auction house? Like these things that go on in our industry, unregulated markets. It's yeah, it is what it is. I don't know what to be done about it. At the end of the day, noise in the hobby. Does it check two boxes? Does it affect you? Can you control it? I can't, and it doesn't. So I just keep on keeping on. Did you already talk about giving away your MetaZoo promo to your subscribers? I've not figured out how I'm going to release it. I don't yet have it in hand. I do not pre-sell product. I do not do like pre-release product ever. Until I have something, it's not real. So I'm not putting too much thought into it. I do expect that I'm getting it, but once I get it, once I see how many I get, once I see what it looks like, once I see what other partners are doing, talking about doing, I will figure it out then. I know some partners actually talked about doing it with native, doing it with booster boxes of native as like a buy a box promo, and it didn't come in time for that. So that's why I don't want to jump the gun and do anything too early, promise to anything too early, because then I might not be able to fulfill that. Yeah, I'm gonna wait till I get it in hand, basically, at the end of the day. What are your tax advantaged account allocations that you purchase throughout the year? Asking for a friend. What are your tax advantaged account allocations that you purchase throughout the year? I don't know if this is getting at something with like IRAs and 401ks and or I don't know if this is like distributor stuff. Clarify, L-dubs. I'm not sure what you're after with that. Basic C0 issue with Aoki publicly making an offer. When are you changing your channel to a DramaTube channel? Never. if I ever start going that route, call me out. I never try to say never. I don't see myself ever doing React content. I don't like talking about people without them being present. I don't like talking about people behind their backs, and sometimes these call out drama videos are definitely 100% that. Even React content, if it's positive, just talking about someone's content without them being there, without having like a back and forth, it just feels weird to me. So I don't really like React content. It's fine. I mean, I watch some React content. It is what it is. It's there, but just not something I see myself doing. We're at the point where I pulled up the Quaxly, it looks like. What's your opinion on mixing food/beverage with LGS concept? I think there are some out there. I think there are some like bar/LGSs. I think there are some like, I don't know if there's like a diner, barbecue place mixed with an LGS. I don't know. It's not something I'll ever do. So seems like there could be things, but not something I'm ever gonna do. So it's hard to say. Can we get a Metazoo therapy doll emoji saying "show me where"? Metazoo is hurting my wallet since they're taking market share from Pokemon. Oh, man. Monarch First Edition is an excellent bear case. Went from 300 to 600 to 80 in 2 years. I mean, Metazoo, what was a Kickstarter booster box? A Kickstarter booster box was $50 if you supported the Kickstarter, right? I believe if you supported the Kickstarter, underfunded, not fully funded Kickstarter from Metazoo, I believe it was $50 for a booster box, and then they peaked at like 10,000, and now they're about 3,000, 2 to 3,000 somewhere. I think one sold for sub 2,000, but that was like one box. So yeah, Metazoo. I mean, Kickstarter theoretically went from 50 to 10,000 to 2,000 or whatever. So unhealthy things happened over the past few years, and I think Metazoo today is at a much healthier spot than where it was. Like, people are just weird. Like, people think that unachievable, unobtainable product is like healthy. People think that these $1,000 Cryptid Nation First Edition boxes so early on are healthy. I think it's healthy where Seance is at right now. I mean, Wilderness and UFO clearly overshot demand. Wilderness and UFO were clearly overprinted relative to the demand at the time. But that's people really trash on Metazoo. I think Metazoo is navigating it really well. I think Metazoo is doing really a great job right now. They had intended to do 100,000 print run for every set moving ahead, and they did that through Wilderness and then UFO, and it didn't pan out well. And then they adjusted. They looked at the market and they adjusted, and they went to 50K for Seance. And Seance is doing a lot better than UFO and Wilderness. And Native 50K, we'll see what it does. But if they need to go down, I assume they will. If they need to go up at some point, I assume they will. And for a card game to be in its third year, still existing, that's like big. Like, there are so many other Kickstarter games that just completely ghosted. Like, they took the money and ran and never made the cards, or the Kickstarter boxes are not selling at all. There's a lot of like flash in the pan things that aren't going to make it past the first year, second year. So yeah, I think Metazoo's in a pretty healthy state right now, personally. Yeah, Rudy was buying them for about $200. That sounds familiar. This just in from Mike Dub on Discord as I type. At everyone, I'm offering a $10,000 bounty on a Mike Waddell creator card 1/1 refractor. Uh-oh, that's gonna hurt people's feelings. I take no issue with that personally. I kind of get, I do see in the Metazoo announcement, I do see that that's hurt some people's feelings. I can't say, I mean, I slightly get where they're coming from a little bit, but I think it's just weird. It's weird to have your feelings hurt by that. Um, Dan, you're doing it all wrong. This is where you virtue signal to gain social approval. Yeah, that is a common thing, isn't it? Uh, Pokey MT says, how do you determine when a collection is a good buy to grade plus sell? I enjoy looking at local WotC collections, but it's hard to value 100 to 200 cards in person, especially with mixed conditions. Any tips? Experience. That's all it comes down to. It's just numbers at the end of the day. You need two things. All you need to be able to do is condition things and then look them up and value them. It's literally just that. The more experience you have, the more time in this you have, the quicker you can do that and the easier you can do that. But at the end of the day, like that's all it is. I guess the third thing is, depending on the time frame for processing through it, you need to be forward looking on where the prices might go. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's just open up a spreadsheet, run the numbers, figure out your time. Like I think a lot of people have no idea how long it takes them to list an item, how long it takes them to fulfill an order and do a shipment. You should know, how long does it take you? I've got a lot of native in front of me. So how long does it take you to take a raw card, put it in plastic, put it on eBay and ship it? At the end of the day, like, you got to know these things so then you can extend out, like, how much money do I need to make on a card to justify selling it? How much money do I have to make on a collection to justify doing it? I think a lot of people just say, oh, buying at 60%, 75%, 80%, buying at 40%. These numbers don't mean anything. The difference between one graded card that's going to take me 2 minutes to photograph and list and has massive liquidity, like, there's so many things that are like liquidity, popularity, price trajectory, if it's going up or down, if it's getting hot or cold, there are so many angles that all just get like wrapped in to the brain. Like when I see a collection, all these gears are turning, all these things are running. But at the end of the day, like, it's all built on that core fundamental. Like, I know how long it takes me to buy and sell a card. To grade and sell a card and list a card and all that. And that's just like the core fundamentals you need that I think a lot of people skip. And they just get stuck on like 60%, 75%, 80%. Those numbers don't mean anything. Because one, like, cards don't have a fixed price. If you're talking 80% of TCG, 65% of TCG, low, mid, whatever, that's an actual number, right? Because TCG Player does have like a low, mid, high, near mint, light play, whatever. But a lot of people just say like 80% market. Market's not a singular number. It's a range. So 80% market doesn't mean anything. 80% TCG low means something because it's an actual, it's a finite number that's shown to you on a web page. But market doesn't mean anything. That's not a number. Unless you've predefined market as like the last auction sale per eBay, per PSA APR, per whatever, Pokedata. Yeah, Basic just talked about that. Oh, I just jumped to the bottom. Sorry, I'm going to try to catch up. The overlay is a bit off screen on my end. Oops. Yeah, it looks like it is. The issue is with OBS, I have so many layered things. Sometimes I try to grab and move the YouTube highlight comment, and then I accidentally grab like the Tiltify overlay. I grabbed the wrong layer, and I need to be better about using the lock so that I lock things in position. But yeah, thanks for letting me know. I fixed that. Dan, do you think hard pull rates for Sword and Shield VMAX alt arts will make the boxes have a gambler's premium vibe many years in the future? It's a weird thing. I think when a card is like 1 out of 1,000, 1 out of 2,000 packs, realistically, like, people should be realistic and they shouldn't have any expectation of pulling that card. Like, will Evolving Skies box prices be affected one way or the other? Because you could pull a $1,000 PSA 10 Moonbryon. People do. Like, whatever the highest hit is in the set, no matter how hard to chase it is, people know what it is. Like, you know, when you open a base set first edition pack, you theoretically could get a $250,000 PSA 10 base first Charizard. No matter how astronomical your odds are, you still know that. And people are not great at math. People are not great at mental math. So they, it's people pay too much for Gambler's Premium because they like to gamble, and I include myself in that. Should sign up for the Hartford Regional signing event lottery now that the artist of the Dan card was announced. Yeah, Thrifty tagged me in that. I saw Squeaks talking about it in Oak's Discord. I have my PSA 10 Dan right there, one of 3 in the world. I'm not going to Hartford Regionals. I don't really care about getting cards signed. But if I did, if I was there and there was no line and it cost like no money, I would get a Dan card signed for sure. I would have him sign to Dan from Dan, and then I would sign Dan as well. So it would be like a dual Dan signed Dan to Dan auto, 1 of 1. I'd make him put 1 of 1 on there too. That would be awesome. I was basically asking what ETFs you purchased for your IRA. Oh, okay. I don't know. That was probably me. I'm running on very little sleep, so that was probably me just failing to suss that out. But anyways, I do very broad index funds. I do, like, I'm in Vanguard. This is not financial advice. This is me for me. I do like VT-Sax. I do VU. I do retires in Mass Mutual. I used to have Mass Mutual with my old employer. It was called Retire Smart 2050, Retire Smart 2060, like an age-based fund that gets less aggressive as you age. But yeah, that's very vaguely, very broadly what I do. If you are interested in like my theories behind investing and all that, Vanguard is like a 3-fund portfolio. Look up a 3-fund portfolio. Look up the 4% rule, Bill Bengen. Look up the Forever portfolio. Things of that nature. Financial independence has a lot of stuff around that, and that's where I get a lot of my allocation determinations. Let's see. Trying to net deck from my financial advisor. Only drama Dan cooks up within is within the bread community. Yeah. Oh man. How do you feel about Pokemon Center Japan being sold out of product now a year after they've been saying that they will try to meet demand? I mean, English went through it, and now Japan is going through it. I think Pokemon is navigating this very well. I think you're seeing in MetaZoo, with Wilderness and UFO, you are seeing in MetaZoo what can happen if you overprint a product for a small, like, flash in the pan amount of demand. Pokemon did it. I'm going to make a video in the coming weeks about Pokemon's history. Pokemon, MetaZoo 3 years in, it's funny. It's fairly similar to where Pokemon was 3 years in. Not exactly the same, but, and I'm not saying MetaZoo is on trajectory in 25 years to be like where Pokemon is today. But base set booster boxes, 3 or 4 years after release, they were $100, $120 retail. They went to hundreds of dollars, all the hype, mania, FOMO. Pokemon printed like crazy. A few years later, base, jungle, fossil, rocket, those boxes were $40 a piece, and no one was buying them. Kind of like Wilderness and UFO. If you overprint for like a small amount of demand and overshoot, you can kill a game. Pokemon survived it, thankfully. MetaZoo, I'm hopeful, and I do believe they will survive it, but not every card game will. Not every game will. And I think like one risk that Lorcana runs is Disney makes so much money, so many places. If they just print like crazy, kill it for 2 years, make tons of money, and then like they crash the game and it all becomes worthless, and all their investors, all the stonkers, speculators get wrecked and stop buying it, Disney will just be like, that was great. Like, we just killed it. We just made a ton of money for 2 years. Trash this game and on to the next, like, let's make another movie. Let's make another theme park. They don't care. Like, at the end of the day, it's business. That would be successful for them to make a couple year thing and just like make money like crazy for that couple years. The tiny low percentage points that this will be on their bottom line is tiny, massively tiny. I was going to say that doesn't make any sense, but yeah, very, very tiny, infinitesimal. Next video, I'm calling Dan out. I'm trying to monetize. Yeah, need a good YouTube beef for sure. All I have to do is make fun of RuneScape, then I'll have no choice but to start drama. People don't realize how few Kickstarter MetaZoo boxes there were too. I've heard recently so many YouTubers saying Kickstarter had 25k print run when it was only 2.5k and first edition was 25k. There's probably sub 1k Kickstarter boxes right now. I would guess, but yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. There would need to have been about 60% having been opened for there to be sub 1k. Has there been? I'm not entirely sure. You could probably get an idea looking at pop reports of like how many Mothmen are graded. There should have been around 1,000 full Hollow Mothmen, 1,100, 1,000, somewhere in there. So if they've graded 1,000 of them, that wouldn't make any sense. There's no way it's 95% opened or something. But and a lot of people don't grade. There's a lot of people that don't grade, even in this day and age when we think everything is graded. Moonbryons even. There's probably like less than 5% of Moonbryons that were opened, graded. What is your counter argument to people saying MetaZoo looks like it was drawn with crayon by 6-year-olds? I'm quite sure it wasn't, so that's all I would say, and I don't really care. I wouldn't spend any time trying to address it. 100k, way too much. 25 is plenty. I'm assuming that's MetaZoo print runs. MetaZoo gonna outlive Lorcana, no cap. I genuinely, I'm probably gonna make that in my MetaZoo video. I mean, I'm a Pokemon channel primarily. My MetaZoo videos don't get great amount of views, but they still get decent. I would not be shocked. I think MetaZoo will outlive Lorcana, is the quickest way to say it. But yeah, I would, not an insane amount of money. I think it's better than 50% odds that MetaZoo will outlast Lorcana. And some people would have their feelings very hurt by that. Some people would think I'm stupid, insane, whatever. But MetaZoo's 3 years in, and I think they have a lot more success. Well, in their 3rd year, they have a lot more success. That people so often joke about how no one plays, no one collects, no one does anything with it. But here I'm at selling it like crazy. I mean, it is released. They do have issues with bottlenecking and not everyone having their boxes yet. They're helping me. But yeah, at the end of the day, like whatever. I'm not rooting for Lorcana to die. A lot of people are rooting for MetaZoo to die. It's just weird. Like Disney's cool. Lorcana, I hope people enjoy it. But it feels like people won't be able to enjoy it because it will just be stunk to all hell. More of these TCGs should go the upper deck route and create an e-pack service. MetaZoo would probably be perfect for that. I am vaguely familiar with what that is because Swami's talked about it some. I've seen it here and there, but I do not know much about it. I'm going to try to get caught up in chat because I'm over 10 minutes behind right now. Yeah, MetaZoo Kickstarter PSA 10 is super cheap right now. People are definitely... It's funny because, like, I've been in MetaZoo for a while now. It's funny how it's the same thing. Like MetaZoo Kickstarter, MetaZoo Cryptid Nation, MetaZoo Nightfall, MetaZoo Wilderness. All these sets are the same as they were. We know the print run. Nothing has fundamentally changed. And like people wanted it more when it was expensive, and people want it less now that it's cheap. I want it more now that it's cheap. I think fundamentally it is the same thing. I don't think any massive red flags are up, in my opinion, as far as what's going on. I don't have any like worries long term about it just completely dying. So I want it more because the price is lower. People want expensive things. People want to buy high and sell low. Like people are just super weird. I need to stop saying weird so much because sometimes I get stuck in that. I have no idea what Bud Light did retro. Any thoughts on Sorcery TCG? I think that's one that I think Squeaks. I think I listened to a video where Squeaks opened that. Maybe I'm mixing that up with a different one. I don't know anything about it though. I feel like it was a Kickstarter. I heard people saying how it had cool art. I think I'm mixing it up though. I don't. That might be the one that Squeaks did, but maybe not. It might not be either. I can't remember. So yeah, I don't have any thoughts, clearly. I should have just said no and then moved on. How would you determine how much capital to put aside for upfront middleman grading fees for a turnaround time of 60-ish days? I'm looking to try and have a constant flow of sending and returns for inventory. I am one who always has, I pay my credit cards on, I pay my grading fees on a credit card. Credit cards are great for smoothing cash flow. Credit cards, as long as you pay them off, credit cards are a free 30 to 60 day loan, depending on when you pay, where your statement balance is. I pay them off in full. But like if I have $10,000 of grading fees and I don't know when it's going to land exactly, say it surprises me and it comes a month early. I put it on my credit card and now I have 45 days to cash flow it, 45 days to get it paid off. Ideally, in a perfect world, you have that money in your bank account. But when you have 100K a month in cash flow or whatever it may be, whether it's $100 a month in cash flow or 100K a month in cash flow or 100 million a month in cash flow, you just do the math, you do the numbers, right? You make sure you're not going to put yourself in a bad scenario. Make sure you're going to have the money when time is ready. But I fully understand not wanting to set aside, say like put all the money in a bank account, leave it there in cash, because then the money's not working for you. But it's all risk. It's all risk, right? Like how much risk do you want to take on where you might have like all your orders land at once and then you don't have the money to pay it, and now you're paying 20% interest on your credit card on your grading fees. That's not great. That makes it a lot harder to make money. Garen says, I farm for a living, so it's hard for me to put a price on time listing and shipping cards. I need to work on that, but I've been programmed to not pay myself for time. Definitely have to value your time. I don't pay myself like an hourly rate. I'm an S corporation. I have to pay myself what's deemed a reasonable salary. I've talked with my accountant about that. We've determined a certain amount based off like roughly what I work. Day by day, week by week, it varies. But at the end of the day, like I pay myself a set like monthly salary. Basically, I pay myself like quarterly, like four times on paper, like payroll. As far as physically transacting money, yeah, I'm not going to get into the complications of like running payroll for an S corporation. Talk with your accountant. Imagine getting a Dan PSA 10 signed by the most famous Dans in the world. That'd be awesome. I wonder if DJ Gigabyte, he's actually who I sold my second PSA 10 Dan to. I think he's a pretty big signature guy. I wonder if he's going. I'll have to hit him up. I used to talk to him a little bit more here and there. I met him back E4 days, Worlds. I wonder if he'll go and get a Dan sign. That would be funny. I'll have to hit him up. Similar to how people need to learn to cook and grow their own food, do people need to learn to make their own cards? Yes. I learn all my financial stuff from Daily Refinement. I know Retro's memeing, but Daily Refinement's a great channel. He loves when I talk about Daily Refinement. He actually showed in, I think it was today's live, today's or yesterday's live that I was watching this morning. He showed like his full personal budget, his full personal like cash flow. Really, really cool to see his spreadsheet, his monthly expenses and all that for the personal and the business. I'm less than 10 minutes behind now, so that's good. Around 600 Kickstarter Mothman Full Hollow. So yeah, I have a spreadsheet somewhere. Nice to see you in here, Mike. But I have a spreadsheet somewhere where I have like print runs for MetaZoo, and I feel like I've shown it in a couple of videos. I've been off the MetaZoo video train for a while, getting things situated on my end. But I'm definitely, I don't think it will be this Saturday. I'm either going to do a 5,000 mass box break, like 5,000 pack, not 5,000 boxes. I'm either going to do a 5,000 pack or maybe a 10,000 pack video. Probably not this Saturday's too soon, but next Saturday. I'm hoping for April 29th to do a native, the pull results from 5 or 10,000 packs. I'm looking forward to making that video. I am, as of today, as of right now, I'm about 5,000 packs deep in native already. So I'm probably halfway there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And then I got to update my spreadsheets for native, 50,000 of each SKU, how many that leads to, how many of each card and all that. But yeah, 600 of each. That sounds right too, because I remember it was like less than alpha, less than, I think alpha is the one. I said 1,000 to 1,100. I think that's what alpha is for every rare. So yeah, that's what I got mixed up on. But Between the Ropes says, Dan, did you have a moment to check out Melvor Idol? If so, what did you think? I looked at a quick YouTube video of it. It seemed like it was a non-graphical game. Like it was just a complete, you click a button to say that you're woodcutting, but you don't physically see yourself woodcutting. It was a really weird feel. Not for me. I didn't really like the idea of it. Lorcana will certainly be interesting to see what it does. I'm hopeful. Like I'm not rooting for anything to fail. I think MetaZoo, as I said, a lot of people are like trashing it because, oh, there's $1 a pack, there's $40 boxes of Wilderness and UFO, but people don't realize, or they forget, or they just don't care. Base set, Jungle, Fossil, Rocket in 2003. All those sets. Rusty made a video on it before. I talked about it in Patreon actually before. Pokemon had a point in its life cycle, in its lifespan, where boxes were $40. In ultra modern boxes, the newest sets were 80 to 100, and the older sets were 40 because they were way overprinted. There was way too much, way more for demand, and that's just like, it's a very hard thing to navigate when you are in an era where everyone is stonking everything. If you overprint, you can kill you. Pokemon could kill Pokemon by overprinting it, and I think they're doing a fantastic job so far navigating it. I hope they don't. I hope they don't overprint it. I hope they don't destroy it. You saw what happened with Evolutions. I mean, Evolutions took like 5 years to come around, and then it went to the moon. But that was a perfect storm scenario. Anyways, let me continue on. I'm only going till 4:30, as is normal. I do have to run to the post office, and they close at 4:45 where I live. So yeah, I have a very tight window. I have to end right at 4:30 and get to the post office. So I'm gonna try to turbo run to the end and keep live with chat. Basic said, I was hearing as I'm cooking, but 600 hollows. Yeah, I was on alpha magic in my mind. I've not looked into, like, I don't know how to play MetaZoo or Pokemon properly. My son is actually asking. I gave him a Battle Academy box to show him that he can learn someday. He's only 4 right now. It says 6 and older on the box. I think next winter I'm gonna learn Pokemon with my son, and maybe we'll learn MetaZoo too. Who knows if he's interested in doing it? But yeah, we play Pokemon. We look at the HP. We look at the attack. We don't do energies. We don't do like turn based. We don't do prizes. We just like smash the cards against each other. Hey, mine does 100 damage, and that's how he plays, how he wants to play. But he seems to want to learn how to actually play the game eventually. So yeah, I'm looking forward to learning Pokemon with him, and then we'll see where we go from there. LOL, Dan explaining himself leaving at 4:30 exactly like Risk Boss. You guys are my boss. Kind of. My customers and my boss. My customers are my boss when you're self-employed. Let's see. My time is worthless. When will you do another spin-off channel for all of our tax, financial, child-raising, dating advice needs? I don't think I'll ever do a second channel. How's it going, Hawaiian Dueler? Nice to see you. The Yu-Gi-Oh! 1 of 1 card, Tyler the Great Warrior, is going up for auction this month. Will be quite interesting where that lands. Yeah, I mean, anywhere from 10,000 to 10 million, I think it will land somewhere in there. Pretty confident. But I could be wrong too. Outside of Tax Guy and Excel, do you use other software like QuickBooks? Nope. All I use is Excel. How many packs until you pull every turquoise out of 10? I definitely got like a mini clump. Randomization is difficult. I talked about this last night a little bit. I ranted about it a little bit last night. Clumping, where I used to work, we dealt with some like randomization issues. We dealt with some clumping, and getting true randomization is actually very difficult to do in like mass production environments. It's a lot harder than people give it credit for. So in a perfect world, 6 and 7 turquoises wouldn't have been in the same, but there is some odds. There is some, like, we don't know. It's reasonable to presume it was clumping, but we also don't know. Like, there is some mathematical percent chance that those were just by true randomness that close to each other. I mean, they could be in back-to-back packs by true randomness. You're never gonna know which way. But yeah, at the end of the day, I don't think I'm gonna pull another one. But who knows? I'm opening another 5,000 packs. I've opened 2 serialized so far. I don't know how many serialized there are in total, but like, if we knew that, we would be able to calculate statistically. You're supposed to open 1 serialized every, whether it's 1,000 packs or 10,000 packs or 100,000 packs. I don't have the data to know that, but maybe we'll find it out. I do know that there's some seed token. I saw people pull the seed token, and then I pulled 2 of the powdered turquoise. I forget if I've seen other. Oh yeah, the Earth Tower, Earth Aura. There was an Earth Aura that was serialized. So I think I've seen at least 3 unique serialized cards. I don't know if there's 20 unique though. I don't know if there's just the 3 or if there's 20 or if there's 100. I don't know if every card has like a 1 of 10 variant. Are anyone here going to card party? I'm not personally. Thoughts on Metazoo? Kai, we covered this earlier. Thoughts on Metazoo inserting a chase card into its set and then offering a personal bounty on the card to pump the value of the boxes. Definitely no conflict of interest. Gigabrain. Why is Steve Aoki not allowed to buy a card from the set? He does own partially the company. Mike Waddell put out in Discord, he put out an offer of 10K on his card. Will someone else offer more? I have no idea, but I see no issue with that. Retro talked about it earlier. Athletes put out bounties on their own cards. Grading companies own auction houses. There are so many things where there are like potential or actual perceived conflicts of interest. And at the end of the day, like, yeah, I mean, there are people that grade at PSA who grade cards with PSA. There are people that work at PWCC that bid on PWCC. There are people that or maybe not that one. I don't know. I don't know exactly who's allowed to do what, but there are a lot of things where there are gray areas and there are lines being tiptoed and whatever it may be. At the end of the day, I feel like it's fair play for, and if it's not, maybe, I mean, the SEC is not involved in this kind of stuff, but if there were some kind of major issue with that, I think someone would do something. I don't really think there is though. I mean, they're consumers. They can buy product, and if someone wants to sell for that, then they can sell, and if not, I just don't understand the outrage over simple things like that, personally. Metazoo never had the hype of Pokemon in the 90s. There's no nostalgia for it. Pokemon never had Bigfoot being... I don't know how old Bigfoot is. Some of Metazoo's things have been around for thousands of years, so Pokemon didn't have that. I mean, that's just a statement that, like, yeah, okay. I don't know what that means. But yeah, I mean, I think anytime someone talks positively about anything, if I talk positively about Metazoo, Pokemon people like get their feelings hurt because they feel like you're not allowed to do that. It has to be Pokemon only, Pokemon or bust. Like, I'm not saying everyone, but some subset of people actually think like that. It's really weird. These things can all coexist. No, but that's why they came back from $1 a pack to where it is now. I don't know for sure. I think the reason I'm a partner, the reason I'm doing it, one, because I'm having fun with it, but two, because I believe in it. I think Metazoo will be around in 10 years. If Metazoo is around in 10 years, this is like I rarely say guarantee, but if Metazoo is around in 10 years, that's a big if. I mean, it might not be. I guarantee Wilderness and second edition Cryptid Nation and UFO, which are all around $1 a pack right now, 36 to fit. Well, 36. I don't think they ever got to 36, but more like 40 to 50. Those will be higher. Those will be higher. Inflation adjusted. I'm not talking inflation adjusted. I'm talking in just dollar terms. I'm talking in nominal terms. That's fairly obvious. They could be lower. I mean, Metazoo could die in between now and 10 years, and they could be higher still. I mean, there are dead TCGs where there are fairly expensive boxes. Naruto is one of them that I recently had cards from. But I personally think Metazoo will be around in 10 years. I think I will have done very well. I mean, I'm actively doing well, doing business in Metazoo, and I think doing business in Metazoo now, looking forward in the future 5-10 years, I think I will be very happy, and I think it will be have been a very big part of my business moving ahead. I could be wrong, but we'll see. We'll see where it ends up. Like at the end of the day, like, if you don't like Metazoo, don't buy the cards, don't watch the content, and that's it. Like, just don't engage with it. I don't understand why people need to be so riled up over things that don't have any effect on them, that they don't like. There's a lot of things in life that I don't like, that I don't watch the show, I don't buy the product, I don't go to the place, I don't talk to the person, I just don't engage. Indifference is like the biggest thing you can do to not sorry, I'm trying to read 2 chats at once. 10K to 10 mil is quite the range, yeah. Do I have any MetaZoo Cryptid Nation Kickstarter first edition boxes left? I have 2 or 3 Kickstarter. I think 2. I'm pretty sure 2, but I'm not positive. It's either 2 or 3. And then I have probably 10 to 20 Cryptid Nation first edition. I am buying some amount of these. Like when the price goes down, if I still believe in it fundamentally, which I do, I become more likely to buy something as the price goes down. Whereas the typical consumer wants to sell when the price goes down because they think it's going to 0. And they want to buy when the price is going up because they think it's going to infinity. It's really weird. People like to buy high and sell low. Dan, since PSA changed their rules for authenticating sketches and autos, I'm strongly considering recasing Ponychu into a PSA slab in person at Collecticon. Your honest opinion. I forget what BGS grade it is. Is it just authentic? It's such a niche thing. Like, I don't think... My honest opinion, you want my real honest opinion? I heard you got like 4 or 5K offers. My honest opinion is hit that sell button. That's my real honest opinion. You have offers in a BGS case for that price. I would be clicking sell, personally. Yes, L-dubs, hardwire only, no Wi-Fi. Appreciate you watching, Joshua. Appreciate the kind words. Strictly Sealed said he'd bid up to 50K, but I'm pretty certain he's getting outbid. Weird things have gone on with other cards before, like Golden. I remember Golden when they sold that, like, what was it, a triple logo man or something with was it with Kobe and Jordan and LeBron? They quoted it as being worth like $5 to $7 million, and then it sold for like $2 million. Stuff like that is weird. Like there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on in the hobby, and I think things like that are a lot more weird than someone offering to buy. Like Steve Aoki, as an individual, is offering to buy a piece of shiny cardboard for $30,000. Mike Waddell, as an individual, is offering to buy a card for $10,000. There might be someone who bids more. At the end of the day, like if you have the card, sell it to him or don't sell it to him. If you don't have the card, who cares? Like, who cares? Oh, man. Basics out here trying to counter Mike. He saw Mike was in the chat earlier. I don't know if Mike's still around, but I'll vocalize your offer so that Mike hears it if he's just listening. Basic Trainer formally offers Mike. Well, I don't know if it's a formal offer because it has a question mark at the end. Mike, if I pull your 1 of 1, I'm thinking more like 12.5K. What say you? I don't know if that's a formal offer. I don't know if that's like contractually, if he's obligated to pay 12.5K. But basically, it's like half offering 12.5K as a sale to you. Upping your offer of 10K. Kai says everything is dodgy, so it's fine. I mean, I get what you're saying. Two wrongs don't make a right is essentially what you're saying. I am ending very, very soon because it's almost 4:30. But yeah, I really don't see that as an issue. I think an individual can be allowed to make an offer on a card. That's like is somebody who owns. I was just watching a YouTube video earlier about finance, and it was talking about like Ryan Reynolds owning some tequila company and owning some Mint Mobile or something, and he made commercials about it. Is a celebrity that owns a business not allowed to promote the business that they own? They're probably not even customers of it. Like, everything's a spectrum, right? Like, it's not right or wrong. There are some degrees of unsavory. There are some degrees of dodgy. And I think that someone putting out a public offer on a card for a company that they own, produced by a company that they own, I see that as like Warren Buffett drinking Coke and advertising Coke in every meeting. He's a consumer of a product that he owns a part of. That there's no issue with that. There's no issue. Like, that is so close to like as undodgy as it gets that it is negligible in my opinion. But yeah, people will get butthurt about it. It is what it is. I'm gonna have to end it there. Getting hungry affects his temper. 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 3 lefts do. Absolutely. Sell that basic ASAP. You're a grown-ass man with a My Little Pony card. What we doing? I have to go to the post office. It closes in 15 minutes. I appreciate everyone watching and hanging out for the day. I will be live on pokeflipz tomorrow with Mr. Walrus, with Bidoof himself.